Hey there, welcome back to A Chosen Adventure. We're going to pick up right where we left off last time. Alright. Sitting down on the floor with your back against the wall, you wonder how you'll explain the broken door to Mr. Grady. But you are relieved. The screaming was nothing bad. Taking a few deep breaths and gathering yourself, you look around the room. Dirty laundry is heaped in the corners and piled in wheeled baskets. It looks mostly like sheets and towels on the far wall. Shelves are stocked with detergent and other cleaning supplies. Nothing too unusual. When you look at the door, since you broke only the bottom part of the door with the trolley, the top of the door is still closed and intact. The manual sliding lock is still in the locked position. The door is locked from the inside, and there is no other way out of the windowless laundry storage room. How is that possible? Okay, don't get freaked out, you say out loud to yourself. Then the pile of laundry starts to move. Backing toward the broken door, you are actually relieved when a huge rat with glowing red eyes comes scuttling out of the dirty sheets. It scurries up the wall and disappears into a black hole near the ceiling. You move towards the pile the rat crawled from and pull off the top sheet. You jump back and give a little scream when you see 4 rat pups searching for their mother. Here's the rat. What are you doing? A voice booms from the darkness behind you. Another little scream escapes from you, and you swing around and you aim your flashlight up. Your boss, Mr. Grady, squints back in the bright light. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, he says. Why is the B-200 powered hand truck smashed into the door? I heard screaming in here, but it was the sink's drain. Then I found rats, baby rats over there, you babble, pointing. Grady laughs a sharp laugh. Oh, the haunted sink. I should have warned you about that. Makes quite the racket. Certainly unnerving, I know. Well, no help for the door. We'll have to pull out our replacement and leave a note for the maintenance crew. As for the rats, he says, striding to the wall and flicking on the lights without looking. We need to power out poison, unfortunately. I've been meaning to deal with that, but it keeps slipping my mind. Which would you like to do? Go get the poison or the door? The poison bucket is heavy, but it is just down the hall from the locker. The replacement door is in the Dahmer annex. Seriously. Alright, these are intentional. The replacement door is in the Dahmer annex on the far side of the property, he says, pointing to one of the windowless walls, as though you could tell where he means. These hollow core doors are light enough for one person to carry, no problem. Not like a dead body. Grady laughs as if a joke. You don't join in. Let me get a choice here. If you choose to go get the poison bucket, turn to page 46. If you decide to go and get the replacement door, turn to page 102. Those rats scared me. Fuck those rats. Going to page 46. Jesus Christ, I saw some of the illustrations here. Take the master key, Mr. Grady says with a strange. We got the poison. Fuck, wait, that was funny. That was. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, so sorry. Take the master key, Mr. Grady says with a strange intensity, handing you a silver key with a gold finish on its head. A red letter O is stamped on it. It will open any door in the complex. Do not lose it or allow it to fall into the wrong hands. I want you to put a scoop of poison in each of the rooms in this building, except for the forbidden room. Don't go in there. It's clearly marked, and there are things that could be unhealthy for you if you open that door. Okay. You stammer. What's in there? And why does the key have that an O? The O is for original, and there are delicate experiments going on in the forbidden room. What else? Mr. Grady laughs. Don't go in there. He hands you the key, and it's oddly heavy for its size. Poison. Ugh, this job stinks. You think to yourself, but out loud you say, Don't worry, Mr. Grady. I'll get the poison, and I won't go inside the forbidden room. Great. I'll I'll go get the door and come right back. You take the key, find the supply room, a bench of sorts holds scales, beakers, test tubes, and bags full of powders. There's a chemical odor in there. Sorry. In the air. This should be called the Forbidden Room. If you mutter beware to beware in the corner, that is a really weird sentence. This should be called the Forbidden Room. You mutter to beware in the corner as a 5-gallon bucket with a skull and crossbones on the words rat poison written on the lid with a red mark. Scooting down the hallway with the beware cart and a bucket of poison, you move. Sorry. Scooting down the hallway with the beware cart and a bucket of poison is more fun than you thought it would be. You make good progress as you move through the warehouse. Taking the scoop, you put some of the blue pellets in the corner of each of the rooms, trying to put it in a place where rats would likely to scurry and people would maybe not notice it. My boy gets rat poison. Most of the rooms are pretty ordinary. You glance over you glance over ordinary boxes labeled things like Castle Financials 1592 through 1648 or Artifacts from Mary Celeste, Captain's Log, Incel. Incline? They are stacked in neat rows. Some rooms don't have boxes at all. One has racks and racks of gowns and dresses. They look pretty nice. But you suppose there would need to be if they were being sent out for movie productions. And a number of them are torn or stained. Strangest room has all sorts of masks. Some are just party masks of animals like wolves, birds, or cats, or simple face coverings with holding sticks and feathers. But there are hundreds of scary masks on foam heads. Zombies, ghouls, ghosts, aliens, tentacle monsters stare at you with empty eyes. Feeling a little creeped out, you dump a scoop of poison in the corner and get out of there as soon as you can. Here's some of the masks. That one looks like a Pennywise. Your bucket is halfway gone, and you have been to most of the rooms in the building. As far as you can tell, you are careful to skip the Forbidden Room, which was clearly marked. You push back the desire to take a quick look inside. You pause in front of a door that's labeled Animal Control, Authorized Personnel Only. Mr. Dick Grady did tell you every room, but you still consider skipping it. Without conscious thought, you find yourself opening the door anyway. You immediately regret it. A huge dog, like a wolfhound, but even bigger, is gorging on a large piece of meat on the floor. It looks up and stares at you with glowing eyes. His muzzle is covered in blood, and you freeze. You see what it's eating. It looks like one of those haunches. They feed lions haunches. They feed lions in zoos. Why is the dog eating it in the middle of the room? Gobbets of bloody meat are scattered all over the floor. Here's a Doge. Cages with cats, birds, and screaming monkeys line the wall. You see a cage with a free dog's twin. Next side, a cage with the door bent open. You have to get out of here. The dog rears and leaps towards you, growling. But you try to escape and slam the door behind you, but the dog is too fast and powerful. You push the beware cart at the dog, but the animal jumps over the cart and escapes the room. The dog knocks the poison bucket over and spills the blue pellets on the floor. Fall away. You run back the way you came. Right in front of you is the red door of the Forbidden Room. You still have the master key in your hand. Looking further down the hallway, you see a ladder leading up to the ceiling. If you could make it there, then the dog wouldn't be able to climb after you. You hope. It's only about 15 yards away, but the dog is coming at you quickly. The low growls are coming from its bloody maw. Another choice here. We can either, if you decide to go to the Forbidden Room, even though Mr. Grady's, you could either go to the Forbidden Room, even though Mr. Grady specifically warned you against it, or you could try and make a run for the ladder. eating up and away from the bloody dog and the unknown risks of the Forbidden Room. We're going to the Forbidden Room. Besides, the closer. Page 74. 2, 3, 4. Okay. The ladder is too far away. You could be mauled. Without hesitating, you rush to the door of the Forbidden Room and shove the master key into its lock. Turning the key and dashing toward you. Turning the key and dashing through, you slam it closed. A whirling noise comes from the door. Breathing hard, you listen to the dog snarling and growling on the other side of the thick door. Thick. After only a minute, the dog goes silent. It probably went back to its meal. You think, but you decide to wait over it before checking to see if it's gone. You look around and take in the Forbidden Room. You are standing in a clean, windowless room. It's small and rectangular, well lit by soft, indirect lighting. It's staged like a formal Victorian sitting room. It seems completely out of place in this warehouse of endless storage spaces. 4 portraits adorn the walls. Below each portrait is a small brass nameplate. On the left side, the portraits are of 2 women, both young and pretty. The first woman is shown opening a sealed urn. The other is biting into an apple. The first is labeled Pandora, and the second is Eve. On the other wall are portraits of 2 different men. The first is a young man, his face turned upward. Beads of sweat cover his face, and he looks strained. He is called Icarus. The other portrait is of a late middle-aged nobleman. He is wearing a velvet doublet and an ermine cape. Ermine? My brain wants to go Armani. That's right. Sorry. He is large, with a dark black beard that glints with blue highlights. His eyes are tight and spacious. He is named Bluebeard. One of these things is not like the other. You mumble, saying to yourself. Turn around, open the cracked door to see if the dog is still there. It doesn't bulge. It's locked. No problem. Didn't Mr. Grady's master key get you in here? It'll get you back out, right? Page 79. You put the silver master key into the lock of the Forbidden Room. It turns the lock, but the door won't open. Desperate, you try every key on the chain, but none of them control the bolt that has been thrown. Hey, Mr. Grady, you shout, banging your fist on the door. Come let me out. You bang on the door and shout for at least 5 minutes. There's no response, not even from the dog. Looking around the small room, you realize there's a second door out. You know it is just your imagination. The people in the portrait seem to be waiting on you to step through it and into the unknown. You follow their gaze and try the far door. It's also locked, but it opens easily when you use the master key. Hopefully, I'll be like Bluebeard's wife, and someone will charge in to rescue me. You whisper to yourself as you open the door into a long hallway. The floor is wooden, but the corridor is lit by scallop wall scones, holding flickering incandescent bulbs. Sorry, I know that word. The light is orangish, and the paper-covered walls look yellow. It is hard to be sure in the light. You start opening up doors, going into rooms. Most are completely empty, but a few have antique furniture in them. Everything is very fancy and completely out of place for what you've seen so far in the warehouse. Rooms leave off from one another, doors open to brick walls, and sets of stairs lead directly to a deadly fall down a dark chute. And this will be part 2 of it. Thanks for watching. See you in part 3.